Today on the podcast, I'm sitting down with the force behind one of Stamford's most iconic and Instagram famous diners. He's got lines out the door. He's been on television, the cooking channel, Food Network itself. The place has become a must visit for foodies and influencers alike. He's a force behind stacked burgers, over-the-top milkshakes, and a brand that's become a social media sensation. Please welcome my friend from Elm Street Diner, John Moschos. Hello, sir.
How are you?
Welcome to the Hey Stamford podcast.
Thank you. I'm honored. It means the world to me that you chose me to be the first inaugural guest.
I love it.
There's no one else I would do it for.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for having me, first and foremost. And before we do get started, I want to just say a special thank you to you throughout the years, everything you've done for our city. You've become the face of our town, and you've been a real big boost and helped us small business owners like myself and everybody around town. Everybody loves you. So everything, thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
What you're about, how you've highlighted our wonderful city.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, so I want to tell you. And I'm going to tell you a quick backstory before we start. We've known each other for many, many years right now. But I remember when you first started, it was a whole thing back then. We were kind of like, I don't want to say innovators, but 2012, 2013, there weren't many people taking pictures of food.
No.
Whatever. So, and I have customers to this day who tell me, hey, I remember you were taking pictures of food back then, and I was. And it was funny because back then, if you got posted on Hey Stamford, you got so excited, and it was kind of like a Where's Waldo? Like, who is this guy?
Right.
And where is it? And if he comes to your place, and I'll never forget, I always say the first time I saw on our page, maybe 2013, that you visited, we're like, we were like ecstatic to the moon.
I love that. I was under the radar. No one knew who I was.
Nobody knew. They're like, we got to find this guy, and we got to go who it is. And is that him? Who was it? So, it's a really cool story, kind of
thank you.
Takes back to where we started. So I just want to say a quick thank you to you for everything you've done for our wonderful city.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Of course, absolutely.
Appreciate you. This isn't about me, though. This is about you.
No, I know. I appreciate that, and thank you for having me. But I had to get that out
really
there.
Kind.
There's a story, and I remember that. The picture vividly. It was a big stack of pancakes.
Really?
Yeah, it was all this thing. Like, where was this guy? Where was he here today? I'm asking. Does anybody know who it was? So it was a lot of fun. Very, very cool. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Juice Kings. What started as a small juice spot has now become a local staple for healthy living. Their expanded menu features handcrafted superfood smoothies, acai bowls, cold-pressed juices, wellness shots, nourishing snacks, and more. They even cater corporate events. Juice Kings has always believed in the power of healthy eating, and the team aims to inspire the community to live well. And while you're there, don't forget to pick up Hey Stamford's Finest, named after yours truly, featuring a nutritious blend of banana, mango, strawberry, pineapple, and apple. Juice Kings is located at 36 Atlantic Street. For more, visit juice-kings.com. Looking for a place where your dog can feel safe, loved, and pampered while you're away? K9 Resorts Luxury Pet Hotel in Stamford offers award-winning care in a state-of-the-art facility designed with your pet's comfort in mind. Whether it's a fun-filled day of play or an overnight stay in a premium suite, your dog will enjoy personalized attention, climate-controlled rooms, and top-tier safety standards from trained professionals who treat every pet like their family. Discover why so many pet parents trust them with their furry loved ones. Visit k9resorts.com/Stamford and give your dog the luxury they deserve. I'll tell you, posting Elm Street Diner food gets big hits.
Yeah.
For all the influencers out there.
Yeah.
Go to Elm Street Diner.
Yeah, thank you. We may not post salads. There's reasons behind that, but we do have them. We do have plenty of healthy options.
Right.
But once you figure out the algorithm of social media, those things don't really pop. So,
right, exactly.
But we're happy to have, all the local influencers, and we love having them in.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Listen, let's get into it. Let's talk about the beginning of Elm Street Diner. I mean, the diner itself started in, I think, 1987.
1987,
Your parents opened it.
Yeah, so my parents opened it. So I'm born and raised in Stamford, in Japan, my whole life.
Nice.
We've always lived there. Quick backstory, my dad was one of the original employees at Lakeside Diner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in Long Ridge, back in the early 80s.
Yeah.
My mom worked at Stamford Hospital at the time. So they were getting ready to sell it at the time, and my dad was interested in buying it. And at the time, the diner currently is what was called What a Bagel. It was Cassone Bakery.
Okay.
And it was a small place that had just opened. And we would drive by on our way home and like, hey, you know, there's this place here, looked really busy on the way towards Japan, towards going home. Turns out that place ended up being for sale right around then. And
I don't remember that at all over there.
It was pink and purple inside, disco, like big time. Yeah. It's called What a Bagel. And my mother's the one kind of pushed my dad. You know, it's like, hey, it's closer to the house. You know, so he ended up buying that location there. He left Lakeside, where he was with the guys originally making donuts and all that.
Right.
So we started then, 1987. Probably by 1988, I was working there. My sister was there from day one. I got one summer off home, you know, alone, whatever.
So how old were you then?
I was 9.
You were 9. Yeah.
So by 10, you got to work.
That's it.
Yeah.
Family business.
So, yeah, and I remember a lot of those days clear as day. I mean, I tell people to this day, it's like why I pick up trash off the ground. Sometimes I would, you know, clean floors, vacuum carpets back then.
Right.
My big thing is I remember going around for all the servers. I'd clean their ashtrays, bus tables. I mean, everything we've done, and I remember those as clear as day still to this day. And at the time, it was rough because like you're on vacation, you go back from a school vacation, and you're like, hey, what'd you do? One kid went like skiing, and one went to Disney. What'd you do? I'm like, I was working, and they're looking at me like
cleaned ashtrays.
Yeah, and I'm like, I had some money, so I was happy, but it ends up being like the best thing you can really do for somebody that age, maybe, you know, a little bit older, but that work ethic that gets instilled into you. And it was the best thing that ended up happening for me. So we started there, you know, and just, you know, my parents worked really hard. My sister from day one, she was there, worked, you know, as you know. And we just, you know, worked, busy local neighborhood place. And we had great, wonderful neighbors and friends and so many people who became lifelong friends that we met from there. I was in college. I went to NYU. I studied economics and finance. I graduated. I went into investment banking. I worked on that sector, that side for a while. And then kind of, you know, post 9/11 and, you know, 2008 when everything kind of crashed in the banking industry, things changed in that whole world. And I'm like, I'm not sure if this is for me. So I made the decision, which was kind of surprising. Hey, it's like, hey, I'm going to kind of go back to the family business. Maybe we can grow this. Right. We have something there. And it was funny because I was met with real opposition. Not real. I don't want to say opposition. It was just like, why would you do this? Hey, you know, I would go to work every day in a shirt and tie. You know, back then that's what it was. There was no
hopping on the train, going to New York City.
There was no casual Fridays. There was no work from home every day, shirt and tie. And it's like, you know, that's the culture and that's what you do. So, and entrepreneurship wasn't a thing you know, back then. I'm like, what is that? Yeah. So, you know, when I told my boss I was leaving, they were all like, why would you go? What are you going to do? And one person's like, hey, if you're going to take this business over, that's a great idea. But, you know, at the beginning of the restaurant, it was very hard for me kind of like, people were more blunt back then. You know, customers are going like, what are you doing here? Didn't you go to school? And why are you here? And, you know, you shouldn't be working here. Yep. So it was very difficult. So just, that was a tough transition. But over time, it's just like, you know, we have a place here we can really, really turn into something special. So time evolved, and that takes us, you know, into 2012, 2013, when before, you know, social media really popped, and, you know, people are kind of looking at you funny, like, this guy's taking pictures of food, and what are they doing? And I just had a vision of creating something unique. Right. You know? And you get inspiration. You see stuff out there. You always see something where it comes from. So you'll see something on social media, but it's like, hey, I want to make it my own. Put your own unique twist on it. And then it's like, you know, I remember the first time doing a quote-unquote unconventional milkshake. Right. And I laugh at it if I see it now. I'm like, oh, that's terrible. What was I thinking? But then, you know, back then, and you start posting for the first time, and it's like, you know, you're getting 1,000 hits. You're like, oh, my God. And now it's like, so that really is when we, you know, little by little, as, you know, time's going on, and it's, you know, it's a process. You're you know, you're making content, you're filming, and then it's, you know, video, you know, pictures.
I mean, your job has evolved so much from just a diner owner.
Yeah. No.
Let me ask you this though: from growing up in the family business, to going to college and getting the job in the city, was there a push for you to stay in the diner business, or were your parents happy for you to?
No, there was no. Like I said, it was kind of, they were always like, we support you, but I think maybe the mislabeled stereotype is back then. It's like, hey, we're immigrants and we came here to work hard for a better life for you.
Right.
And you went to college and you should be doing better than us. My answer to that is, I'm not doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing the actual physical work. I can, but we have something special here that we're gonna grow with me doing what I learned, using the tools I learned in school and applying those in business school.
Yep.
And that's kind of whatever. But listen, you do what you got to do at the beginning. You work.
Right.
You get to the point, and it's like, work the pass. I'll decorate the plates. I'll do what I got to do. You clean. You get to a point where you have a wonderful team and a staff in place, so you're at the level where you can take the next step.
Right. Yep.
So
your parents were happy for you to come back into the diner.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like then as time evolved, and it kind of saw like the changes and kind of, the vision I had at the beginning was a little difficult, I think, for anybody at the time to see.
Right.
It's like, well, we've always done it this way. Why would you not do it this way? And that's kind of the downfall I see now of a lot of restaurants who, that's great. You have your customer base. You've been doing it for, 30, 40 years. But if I was doing things at Elm Street now like we were doing things then, there definitely wouldn't be as many people coming through the doors as there are, today, for sure.
I mean, you touched on the original milkshake you did. What was the process like for that? Were you just BSing around the diner one day and you threw something together?
We saw some. I'm like, hey, let's incorporate some really cool new fun things. We can do different, unique flavors.
Right.
But then you're just like, well, if I do this crazy, can I replicate it? And who's going to make it? And I would remember at the beginning, anytime an order would come in, no matter what I had to do, one of the servers would stop me and say, hey, you got to come make one of those milkshakes. It's your idea. We're not like,
right.
Totally different than now. Than like everybody kind of trained for it.
You have a whole milkshake station now.
Yeah. Like that's a big dedicated thing. People come take photos. It's a big area where people shoot content.
Yep.
It's probably our number one spot in all the restaurant that gets photographed or videoed when people come in.
I mean, it's great for people come in here for all types of celebrations, but then they just come in for regular Sunday brunch for something special.
Yeah, so we're still that wonderful local neighborhood place. We have our great regulars in Stamford. We have our neighbors who've been coming in, who become, like I said, our friends for 30, 40 years. But the real shift to our business model has been we've become that destination.
Right.
And people just come in for brunch, for quote unquote everyday regular diner food.
Yep.
That I like to say we elevate and we serve with better quality ingredients. And our real social media superstars, as we call them.
Right.
Things unique to us that no one else does.
Yep.
And that really move the needle and really make people say, hey, I'm going to drive 3 hours to go check this out. I'm going to drive 2 hours. And, that's become half of our customer base on weekends, let's say.
Right.
It's all that destination crowd, which is great because then you're drawing people to your city.
Yep.
And, Connecticut.
I mean, you're such a destination for people to come into. People are traveling to come to the diner.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I love. It's a lot of times I get messages, hey, I'm coming to Stamford for the night. Recommend somewhere to stay. Is there something to do? We're going to come eat at your place twice that day. So it's really, really cool when you see that. We have the Connecticut, the tourism state of Connecticut. When I saw you at that show, it's like you guys are drawing so many people just to come visit to eat, which I find fascinating, very cool, and it's I'm happy. It's my hometown, so we're showcasing it. We're like, hey, check this out. Go to this park. Go see this. Go to this other restaurant. Stay at this hotel, and it generates.
You're driving the tourism to the area through your food,
and it's great, and I really enjoy that. And that's for me, that's the joy. That's the fun of what we have. What we do is creating new things and cultivating these real special experiences for when people come see us.
That's amazing. If you're dining out in Stamford, do you have a place that you like to go to?
So, of course. I'm big on reciprocating, too. We have a lot of great fellow restaurateurs that come to us. So I always like to go visit them. I'm not being biased, but I'm Greek, so of course we're, and then one of my best friends, obviously, my best friend, I'll say, Cucina's probably one of my favorites.
Such a great restaurant.
Fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
And then, listen, even places like Prime and Capitol Grill, they do have great service, great food. They're customers of ours. So we go, we go there as well when we're off Mondays and Tuesday. They're favorites of ours as well.
Nice. I love that. What I love is that, in talking with you, there's a nice, I don't want to say it's an underground kind of restaurant connection, but a lot of the restaurateurs in Stamford know each other, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's funny because I got a call a couple hours ago. One of the guys comes and picks up, those grease receptacles.
Yep.
And the guy says to me, I know you're really close to the guy from Cucina we're trying to get to. Can you give me, so I'm not going to give you his phone number, as you can go ask him, but they're all, it's like we have a very good connection and friendship. It's, we're in hospitality.
Right.
So, we're all working the same days. We're all off the same days.
Right.
Most of us all know one another. We spend a lot of time together, going out to other restaurants and supporting one another. So it's something we enjoy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just going through my notes here. I made a lot of notes about you.
Whatever you want, man. I got you.
Talking through, a lot of the products and stuff. I mean, we talked about the first milkshake, right? What's the inspiration like for coming up with new products? What's the model like? So you create these waffles, right? The waffle towers, for instance. Is there a crew of people that you'll put them in front of first, test them out? Do you go through a process like that?
So we'll do, there's some, it's kind of R&D. I go through a lot in my head before I'm really, even really to say to my staff, hey, let's execute this, to my managers and, my sister and whoever, and, I'll even talk it over and even say to my wife, hey, what do you think about this? But I'm really trying to perfect, I don't want to just put stuff together, And I always tell the staff that we can't just, the flavors all got to mesh. Aesthetically, it's got to be pretty, but you can't just, you don't just layer on different stuff. Things don't work. So I spend a lot of time thinking. If I show you my phone, the crazy notes I have in there. I just sit and I'm like, or I'll even stop and write something down. I'm like, this will go with that. Let's try it. So it's a process where you just sit, figure it out, play with it. It doesn't work, try it again. I tell the guys, don't get discouraged. A lot of times you're not going to get it in the first one. Right. And just don't try and create something just to make it go viral. If it's got to work. Right. So we got a great staff, great team, great management. They're the great leaders. So they kind of do it without me sometimes. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm like, let's see, sure, try it. So there's a lot that goes into it. Yep. We try and formulate stuff. I try and do my a new menu several times a year. Okay. So a lot of times we're seeing, I'll put things on social media and see kind of the response before I put it on the menu. Mm-hmm. And that way we can gauge how something works. Yep. So that's helped tremendously for us. And just a lot of times, we do Sunday brunch specials. We do a menu that's not our regular menu. Right. And again, we gauge, okay, this was really popular. This could become a permanent menu. And let's try it again. Yep. Let's make this tweak to it. Let's do this. Then, we go off of customer engagement, feedback. And usually that's how we're formulating, okay, then we got something here. And now I always want to take it a little bit step further. It's always about making it unique to us. Yep. So it's always the twist that we're going to put on. So someone sees it on social media and they'll know it'll be Elm Street without even a caption or anything on there. Right. Yeah. What I love, I've filmed a lot of your products before. Yeah. And what I love watching them is I always think that you're done with, and we're just getting started, topping it off, and that's always halfway through. Yeah. It's always kind of like but a lot of it's the staff. They're great. They're like kind of one up the last one, right? And that's what it is. And we've had so many videos hit 10 and 20 million views. Amazing. That once one of the staff members sees that, right? I got one of my managers in Stamford. People come in. They're asking for pictures and autographs. And it's great. You've seen him. You know amazing. Who he is. Yep. Raphael. Yeah. Shout out to him, of course. He's amazing. Yep. And so many people come in. And so now, when I'm at the other store, they're sending me pictures and videos. And I'm like, great job, Raphael. They're like, no, it's not Raphael. We're trying to top him. And now, the staff there, and it's taking it to the next level. Again, aesthetically, make it fun, make it an experience,
Right.
have it taste good, all those. But it just really provided a memorable experience. I'm big on, I do remember when we were looking for glasses one day for the birthday bowl, and my kitchen guy says, "What, you want to use the same milkshake glass?" I said, "No, we're going to do something different." And the way nostalgia plays out is incredible because it took me back to in the 80s when we went to Friendly's.
Right.
And for those who don't know, I don't know if they're still around, but
Right.
Friendly's was the big thing, and they had the big Jim Dandy glass.
Yes.
And that thing was like a weapon, man. You could take that, forget it. And I remember, I says, "You remember that old Jim Dandy glass?" And the guy was so great. He's my guy, Tommy. He's my kitchen guy and my equipment. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember." He goes, "I get them for you." And he got them for me, and we started making the birthday bowl of that. And that thing has really taken on a life of its own. It's just as popular as our cake shakes now.
Is it really?
Yeah. So I just thought of nostalgia with that to build it. And that's what it is. It's generations after it's come in, and I had the first milkshake. And I have people I've seen grow up now. My friend's neighbor, he was working with us in high school. He's going to college. He's going to, get married and have kids of their own, and they bring it in. And it's a cycle. It's what you remember. It's,
right.
I've seen so many generations of customers and families and people come through now. We're going to be almost 40 years in that store.
Wow.
Which is, it's like, wow. So I try and touch on all those. I think it's important. I think nostalgia is a big part of an experience. It's what you remember. And as long as it's as good as people just keep coming back for that.
That's great. Yeah, you're right. One thing I love about going to your diner is that you're always so kind to me and my family when we go in there. And I joked about this once before, but in the beginning I was like, "Oh, I'm kind of, it's taking care of me. That's cool."
Yeah, you're the guy in town.
But then I look around.
Yeah.
And you're doing it to everyone else in there too, and you're taking care of people. It's a real family atmosphere. And to your point, you see a lot of familiar faces come in there, and you see these people grow up.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. We're family there. It's a community there. Our employees have been there so many years. Just that connection with so many people coming through the door. Once you see somebody like a second time, and it's bring them something over just to say hello, and it's all about. In our business, it's about hospitality, right? And elevated hospitality.
Right.
And but it's just a little bit more than that, even in a sense. It's like you're having somebody at your house.
Yep.
You want to feel them, you're warm and welcoming. You have friends over for a party or dinner. In a sense, everybody comes through those doors. They're essentially part of our family at that point. So I want to be unique. I want to be different. You go over, you bring somebody a plate of donuts and sit down. What's this for? And nothing. It's just for coming in. We appreciate it. Well, we didn't order yet, but it's okay. We don't serve bread here. We will give you donuts as an appetizer. And it's cool, unique, because you remember it. And then so many people remember it. And then, I get emails and messages. Thank you. We came from from hours away, and you guys didn't know us. We were so kind. We got a guy who came in maybe about 10, 15 years ago. He drove in from like Rochester, Buffalo area, just on a random Saturday. And he shows, this is back right when, our Instagram was getting popular. He shows one of our servers. He's like, "Can I have this?" And he's like, "Oh, we only make that on Sundays." And he's like, "Wait, what?" Because that was new at the time. And then I kind of over here, and I said to the server, "Hey, what does he need?" And we'll make it for him. And then he comes over. He's like, "Oh, my God." And you don't know what that means to me. And this guy's turned into a friend of ours who visits us probably 3-4 times a year, every year since. He makes the drive. He stays over at the Marriott. He's like, "Hey, I'm coming to see, try all the new things." And he's became a friend of ours. And
That's
it's just,
amazing. It just goes to show. It goes a long way.
Yeah. He says, we drove 5 hours, and we're like, "Oh, man, they don't have that today." It was like a special we ran previously. And I'm like, "No, we'll make it for you." So those are the unique experiences kind of you remember. And, you want to build those relationships with everybody as they walk through the door just to make them feel really special. So, you're still our guy, regardless, no matter what. But we want everybody just to, to really feel at home.
That hospitality is so important. Does that come from your parents and watching them run the business?
Yeah, a lot of that is even how you grow up. It's, again, not going back to be biased, but in Greece, we have that, Greek culture. It's a big thing. You're welcoming people even that you don't know, but they're coming essentially into your home. And that hospitable, those mannerisms, how you're making them feel, it's a huge part of, that, what we do.
Right.
So it's kind of ingrained in us. And, I think it's so important, and you make somebody feel like, think about it. And you go somewhere, and you immediately sit down, and they're treating you, you're the best customer there.
Right.
It goes a long way. So you want to make everybody kind of feel like they're at home. And that's something, that was kind of instilled and ingrained in us, from a very young age.
Yeah,
a lot of
right.
us in our culture are very similar.
Sure.
You see that. You eat a lot of Greek restaurants. You see it's kind of a thing, like in Greece you go, they're bringing you like a dessert over at the end of the meal. Why? For free,
Right.
just because.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
and then people
great.
love it. You remember it.
They do. You remember it. Yeah.
Truly,
right.
yeah.
Any other inspirations in the business world that you look up to?
Yeah,
or?
I see. I'm really blessed and fortunate enough to talk to the group from Shake Shack. Those guys.
Yeah.
Danny Meyer came in one day. He was a customer. Just randomly
great.
came in and he left a note. I love your place.
Wow.
And I was upset because I wasn't there at the time.
Oh.
And then I'm like, well, how do you guys not know who he was? So I'm like, what? So what I did is I made several dozen donuts decorated, drove down to the city to his office myself to go bring them back to thank you. And then I've been fortunate enough for him and his partner, Richard, we've kind of developed a relationship where we talk often and just, hey,
That's so
bounce some
great.
ideas from one another.
Right.
So, yeah, kind of it's been great. You have somebody
I mean, talk about someone that's kind of set the tone for hospitality,
forefront
right?
and leaders in our industry. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And and when someone like that's telling you you're doing what you're doing is right, just keep going, and it makes you feel
Right.
really good.
Yeah.
So they've been instrumental, really, to me personally.
Right.
Just to have somebody like that, like I can get up and call, and
Yep.
they'll call me back immediately. And
That's great.
Really great people. So yeah, I'm really fortunate and lucky to have. Now I call them friends now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. That's amazing. We talked about the influencer side of it.
Yeah.
You've had some big people come into the shop.
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of celebrities, a lot of professional athletes. I've been recognized out by celebrities, owners
Right.
of sports teams, very good, wonderful people, quite a bit, yeah. So it's kind of humbling,
Right.
and it's odd, but it's
Yeah.
fun at the same time.
Right.
So they just kind of been discovered just through the social media. And the power of social media is incredible because you're in Stamford, Connecticut, and you have people from all over the country
It's amazing.
and celebrities and things of that nature kind of know who you are because of
Right.
what you've done and the content you put out. So we've been really lucky and fortunate to have just wonderful. We've established relationships with a lot of these people throughout the years. Huge influencers, obviously, who
Yeah.
come in
Yep.
in what we do in that food world.
Yep.
But again, like you said, actors and celebrities, and we've had a lot of NBA players and things like that nature. Very cool.
The biggest star who's come into the restaurant.
You're
allowed to say.
You're a wrestling guy, and there's a lot of those WWE guys.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's funny because I knew some of them. I didn't know
Right.
some of them. Donovan Mitchell, who's been, he plays in the NBA,
Yep.
local. Of course, Steve and Alex Cohen
Yeah.
several
right.
times.
Great.
Really great, wonderful people. Bethany Frankel,
Yeah.
several times as well.
She had great content.
She had incredible
Yeah.
content, and if I tell you, we had so many people came in because of her,
That's great.
and just and she's such a wonderful person, and she puts out great stuff, and she's she came in those several times. Really fun stuff she put out, and people, it just blew
Right.
up.
Yeah.
And like I just came just because she came,
Right.
which is fun.
That's awesome.
It's great, so I really enjoy that. Yeah.
Was there something with Ellen?
There was something way back. So it was one of the original milkshakes. And
okay.
somebody took a customer picture and that got
Yeah.
posted on there. And
Got
that
it.
thing blew up.
Yeah.
That's from like 2018, I want to say. That thing got like 20 million hits.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've had that, which is really cool. There's been so many of them.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of them right now.
Right.
We've had just so
You've
many.
been lucky.
Yeah.
Our area is full of a lot of great people like that.
Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah.
Talking about sports for a minute, big Kobe guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you're a collector?
I am. Yeah.
Let's talk
That's
about
my
that for a
guy.
minute.
Yeah, it's cool. It's funny. Back in the 80s when we were growing up, that was a big thing then,
Yeah.
as you know. So I was really into that. And then kind of, you get a little older and it kind of goes away. And over time, I always he's been my guy. I resonated with him. That
Yep.
whole, I was at his, first game, I was at his last game, I was at all those finals. I had, the jerseys and the balls and the signed sneakers, and I had all that stuff. It was, I just felt a connection. We were both born, same year, same time frame.
Yep.
It's kind of your guy growing up, and you
Right.
feel that connection, that whole mentality.
Yeah.
You can say it, but you got to live it.
Right.
It's two different things. So I was all about it. So obviously after when he passed, and it was like horrible, kind of just like as bad as can be. And as time goes by, it was funny. You kind of revert back to what kind of brought you joy as a hobby as a kid.
Right.
And I kind of went back to that and started just accumulating as much Kobe stuff as I can.
Wow.
After, like, you're going back and seeing your stuff from the 90s, because I had stopped around then when I was going into high school. And then it just like, that kid in you really comes out again.
Right.
And it's like the more you accumulate, it's a feeling. It's weird. You can't describe. It's a hobby, and it's not a monetary thing. And you're not looking at it like
Right.
watching, say, oh, I'm just making X amount of dollars. It's
Right.
something. It's a collection that's personal to you. And even if you can pick up a $1 card, let's say, that means to you more than someone selling like, oh, I
Right.
don't want that.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It brings me a lot of joy. Just kind of relaxes me. But it's like he's a connection to the guy.
Right.
That's the guy I have a connection to.
Yep.
Now these young guys, I don't feel it as much. I watch, but it's totally different. We support obviously all the local teams. We're happy when they're doing well.
Right.
But I guess when you get a little older, you lose your guy. Now you're going to be the older guy. Yeah.
Any nods to Kobe at the restaurant?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I had somebody, they sent a couple gifts in. I had a friend of ours. Somebody found us on social media and becoming a friend from Australia. He visited.
Wow.
So he's been into the restaurant several times. You may have met him. Leon doing the smash burgers.
Oh, smash burgers,
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
He's got a great burger.
Yeah.
We did a pop-up with him at our place. So as a gift, as a thank you for, how, we're being friendly to him, he had an artist do a rendering of Kobe in the diner with me.
Wow.
With our quote-unquote Black Mamba burger that I came up with.
There you go.
As an homage to him. So basically, we have our Black Mamba burger that's topped with a double cheeseburger that's topped with 5 onion rings, one for each one of his titles. Michael K came in and had it.
I like it.
It was really cool. And then I have another customer, it's a friend of ours. He's from Long Island who visits us. At the new store, he had a custom Kobe jersey, and it happened to be just his Elm Street Diner in the back, but it's a 24 because that's the year we opened the new store. And we have that on our wall there, hung by our bar, which is really beautiful. So, yeah, each store has a little touch, a little to him. My office there has got some stuff hanging out that my wife's like, instead of home, you go there. So, there's a little of him with us at each location for sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the new store.
Yeah.
2024, you expanded into Norwalk.
Into Norwalk, yes.
We've talked about it for a long time.
We have.
I know growth has been something that's been important to you and something you've wanted to do, but Norwalk landed in 2024.
Norwalk landed in 2024. It was on the radar for me around 2019. It kind of goes back to, obviously, 2020 slowed everything. And then, kind of picked up again what we wanted to do in 2022. Hey, we're going to scout out. We're gonna look for the next spot.
Yep.
Like you said, we've talked for a while. That was the forefront of what I've wanted to do.
Yep.
I wanted to take our brand and kind of expand it and have more people see what we do. So we found the space in Waypoint on West Avenue. For those older, years ago, that's where Loman's used to be.
Got it.
Down the street.
Yep.
From where the mall is. Sono. And for the younger crowd now, that's where the Waypoint is. A huge apartment complex, a lot of residential with many big brand restaurants that are below it.
You got great neighbors over there.
Yeah, Colony Grill, they're fantastic. They're wonderful neighbors. In Stamford and neighbors there.
Right.
Yeah, so we're neighbors both spots. Barcelona's there, so they're a great big brand there. So we found the space. It was about a year, a little more, those build-outs take longer. It was a little more tricky there, being that was a new build-out. There's people living above us, so it was a little bit longer than we anticipated. But we did open. We just closed our 6 months there a couple weeks ago.
It's so wild.
So 6 months.
I feel like you just opened.
It just opened. Time flies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're really fortunate, man. We've really been a warm welcome to the community. It's totally new for me. It's kind of, a whole different set of demographic and crowd and customer base and everything totally different when I'm used to, when I told you, it's like, now I'm leaving home. That's all I knew.
Right.
And it kind of expanded, and it's our name, our brand, but again, new faces, new place, starting from scratch. It's a little different than what I had become accustomed to, and getting out of your comfort zone. It's tough. You have your moments, but you have a long, bigger picture and goal, overall in mind. And we really can't stress how thankful and fortunate and blessed we've been with, the support in 6 months for where we are. We're extremely pleased.
That's amazing. You are lucky enough to have great staff and great people working with you along the way. What's it like how do you keep the consistency of a great brand, great food, great products with 2 different locations now?
It's totally evolved. It's different. Years ago, I would say, hey, just have good food and then you can figure out the rest.
Right.
But now it's a whole culture shift. It starts with, you're empowering also your wonderful staff that's there.
Yep.
It's like, hey, I put trust in you. And we have this brand that people coming and you can be a creator and you can do this and you're doing a wonderful job. So having a great team is a huge part of it.
Yep.
And again, it goes back to providing that experience. What you want to give to somebody is, yes, you want great quality food. You want something special. You want unique. But that experience, how you're going to make them feel. Yep. And it's going to be a memory. And it's like, oh, my God, I'm leaving. We have to go back.
Right.
Those things all play such a huge role. And to me, that's the number one thing I tell about our management. Let's focus on that. We're I'm not trying to toot our own horn, but we're almost 40 years our business. Our food and our quality will speak for itself. Yep. We know what it is. We have to continue to provide that unique level of hospitality that no one else does. And everybody, listen, and we're not for everybody. I get that. We have everything we talked about. We'll have we have your classics, all those, and we have your healthy options. And I understand people have their favorite places too. But we hang our hat on, we provide all those, and we do a little bit of something else that no one else does.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think that's a key point to get across is that you have the classics in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not just over the top stuff.
Not.
You have the good stuff,
for sure.
The other stuff.
Listen, that's what built our business,
right?
In Stamford for all these decades. We're a local neighborhood place. Great partnerships with the community, and say hospitals and schools and catering, and and that's what we're laying down the foundation in Norwalk now. We're starting a relationship with Norwalk Hospital, and we have a great relationship with their government, their mayor's office, and that's what it is. It's like we provide those, but we're also going to become. Then you have your great, you have your museums there, maritime stepping stones. In conjunction, kids and families, they love that experience. Is that you won't find that anywhere else.
Yeah, that's right. Catering a big part of your business?
Catering is a very big part of our business because, again, we personalize it. We're big on, hey, let us make a menu for you and your event.
Right.
I'm huge on that. We don't have a traditional catering menu, which we are kind of working on for Norwalk because we're new and it's different. Yep. But with Stamford, we've had these long-standing relationships with so many people for so many years. Right. They kind of put our trust in us. Yep. And then that's the fun part. It's like we make a unique menu for someone's event. And people like that. You're not just getting a salad and a sandwich that most places are going to do. Yep. Let's do something fun. Let's do something unique. So from that standpoint, that's really fun. And again, when you have a partnership with a lot of places for so many years, they put your trust in you. So and that's good. It's a big part of business. It's important. You got to have, like I said, you have your midweek. Most restaurants are their quietest. So you want your regular crowd, and you want your, delivery and catering to help, hold you. Yep. And then, for us, it's destination and weekend crowd, and the Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and when kids are off, those days, it's we do really well those weeks.
That's great. You touched on salads for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, you say you serve everything at the diner.
For sure.
But I never see salads on the Instagram.
I'm going to tell you. A funny story about that. So many. I mean, as you could scroll through some of our stuff, especially the stuff that's got 20 million hits, and some of the comments on there are pretty funny. They're like, serve something healthy, blah blah blah. So I says, let's do something fun. New Year's. Everybody's kind of, going on their New Year's resolution diet. I says, let's do a reel of every salad that we have. Probably 10 salads, really good quality ingredients, great stuff, with fresh proteins on them.
Yep.
Chicken, steak, shrimp, salmon, things like that. Greek salads, quinoa salads, things like that. I make a really cool reel that I was very, very excited about. Probably my first salad one ever. And as we post it, and as it goes up, the comments start. We're not here for salads. Don't become a salad bar. And man, we can't win at this. That was fun. I was so excited about our salads, which are very, very popular, believe it or not, extremely popular. The minute I post it, and of course it's the lowest engaging, views of all our stuff. And I said, see? What's going on over here? You
know what? You get a salad, put some Nutella on it.
There you go. We'll do something cool. Now you got me thinking, right? There you go.
Oh, that's great. I want to talk about your parents for one more second.
Yeah, of course.
How do they feel about the fame that it's gained, and are they out there making milkshakes and waffle towers?
Kind of like the evolution of it?
Yeah.
They did so much. They're so supportive, and they're so thankful every day, and they're just wowed. And I get really excited when they come in, and they see the staff, a lot of them who were there when they worked.
Right.
And so many of the customers who know them, and they come in, and I can't say what my parents have done. The feeling I get from seeing them and the happiness and the smile, because obviously without them, none of this is happening.
Right.
They were the backbone, and I couldn't do.
And
my
laid
sister
the
as
groundwork,
well.
like you said.
She was there from day one. And I technically wasn't. But I couldn't do that work that they put in, how they did it. I couldn't do that.
Right.
And what they do. So now when they see it, and it's and they say, oh, back then it wasn't a thing to say how proud we're, just their actions.
Right.
But now they constantly say it, and they have friends and neighbors and customers who come in, and their support, and has just been so instrumental to everything. And just seeing them when they come in, and kind of the smile and looks on their faces, and I always go make sure I go see them. We bring them food when they're they're there lunchtime, so I'll go by.
I love to see them there.
Yeah, they're so excited because they see so many of their wonderful neighbors, and you think about it, almost 40 years somewhere. They're there. Not many restaurants stay intact for 40 years, and the fact that they were willing to let the reins go a little bit and let me kind of change things up at a time when it wasn't really mainstream and popular. It'd be different now. It's like, hey, we're old. It's we're hanging it up.
Right.
Social media is a thing, but you're talking almost 15 years now when it wasn't, and they're like, we're trying to be this neighborhood place selling this. Why are you changing it up?
Right.
It works. Why are we doing this? So I'm really thankful to them for them being okay with that. Because that's not easy either.
Believing with you, trusting you with the business.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great. We're going to wrap up in a second.
Yeah, no problem.
I got some rapid fire questions for
do
you.
It.
Before we do that, anything else you want to share with the audience?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody in Stamford. It's been so overwhelmed.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm born and raised in this town my whole life. So this is home. It'll always be home. But it's really humbling when you go through an airport or another town very far away, and you're wearing a shirt or a hat with our brand on it, and people recognize it and they say Stamford. So we're extremely thankful and grateful for that. There are no words can say, what I mean. So I have, pretty big, bold plans in my head for us for the future.
Yep.
Expanding here, opening here, doing this, doing that. But regardless, Stamford will always be my home.
That's great. Yeah. Nice. All right. Rapid fire.
Let's do it.
Most over-the-top menu item that you've ever created?
A triple waffle tower.
Triple waffle tower,
yeah. We were doing, we were playing around, we were making stuff, and we were using a product. There was a Terramana tequila thing. We were trying to get the attention of The Rock. So we built some crazy over-the-top tower, and, we were talking to him, and we were having some fun with that.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, wild stuff.
Your favorite dish on the menu?
Oh, man, there's so many. So many. it's hard to say. Sunday brunch is my favorite.
Yep.
To me, Sunday's my favorite day of the week, and we just do different, like, unique things.
Right.
I'm funny. I eat a lot of the same stuff every day. It's hard to really, pinpoint anything, but it's anything off our Sunday brunch.
I'm just thinking out loud. What are some Greek staples that you have on the menu?
We still, being that my parents aren't there as much, they would help part of that. We've kind of transitioned a little away from that, but we do super popular our agua lemon or chicken lemon rice soup.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, very, very popular.
I can't say it, but I love it.
That's why I say chicken lemon rice. That, and we have our classic souvlaki and the gyro platters. Those are still staples.
Nice.
They stay popular with us for many years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. We talked about this a little bit. Most famous person who's come in.
We got multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah, multiple ones.
What's the last thing you cooked at home?
Good question. We cooked tacos.
Nice.
Yeah, but we changed it up. Then we do. I try and cook things that we don't have at the restaurant.
Right.
And that's what we do. Since at home, we'll make maybe some other Greek stuff as well. But or like a really good ribeye. When it's grilling season.
Yep.
But a lot of times we try and at home just. If we're going to cook, I say just something different.
Right.
Yeah. Or if we're not ordering out.
Right.
Yeah.
Lastly, one word to describe your diner. You can make it 2 or 3 words.
Yeah. You could say over the top. You could say innovative, different, unique, creative. That's always kind of what I want it to be. I'm happy to be part of a wonderful community for so many years.
Yep.
But like I had told you, I'd never wanted to just be the one person in one town forever.
Right.
I had more aspirations. Just I wanted to bring what we do to so many brands and turn us potentially and hopefully into a national brand with recognition of bringing that experience to so many different other cities. They all can't be. None of them can be Stamford because it's home, obviously. But we want to bring that feeling that we emit from our customers. I'd really love to make that a national thing.
I love it. Yeah. And all originating from Stamford. That's great.
It always will.
Where can people find you?
All over our socials, at Elm Street Diner. We're Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. You name it, we're on it.
You got them all.
Yeah, absolutely.
John, thank you very much.
PJ, it's
Thanks
my
for
pleasure.
being guest number 1.
I'm happy to. I'm honored. I'll always be guest number 1.
I love it.
And we can't wait to see you again.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.